So you probably saw the title and know exactly what I'm about to talk about. The Barbed Bracelet, which I definitely believe Team Cherry severely undercooked. Okay, so what do I even mean by that? So this is how the bracelet works. So basically you deal an extra 25% damage at the cost of taking double damage. Now after hearing those words, you're probably thinking, oh, so what's the problem with that? Which on the surface, there doesn't seem to be much of. Until you remember that double damage in Silksong means you just lost 4 masks in 1 hit. I repeat, 4 masks in 1 hit. Given you find this tool in Act 1, where you barely have more than 5 masks at a given time, this now leads to you dying in 2 hits while you have the bracelet on. Which, I'm sorry if I don't sound too impressed, but I just think this is not a fair trade at all. Now, the damage you receive while you have the bracelet on is not my main problem. My problem stems from the damage you deal instead, which is definitely not worth taking 4 masks worth of damage as a result. I'm not advocating for dealing 100% extra damage, but I think 50% extra damage would be perfect for the sacrifice of putting on the bracelet. Every time I have the bracelet on, I just can't help thinking of Dead Cells and its cursed sword, which I think is a great example of how such tools or weapons should be used. So basically, when using the cursed sword in Dead Cells, you deal an extra 100% damage at the price of dying in 1 hit. So, you know, it rewards risk takers with something proportional to what they are willing to lose in return. Which, in my opinion, is a great model to follow. You get to be aggressive and melt enemies and bosses, but they can do the same to you in return if you are not alert. Yes, I know Dead Cells is not a one-to-one comparison to Silksong. They are 2 different games, and I get that. And obviously I'm not advocating for the bracelet to do the same thing as the cursed sword. But something close to that would be welcomed by those who choose to play dangerously. So as to bridge the gap between the price you paying, which is the double damage received, and the reward you get, which is the extra damage you deal. That is why I think the Barbed Bracelet should do an extra 50% damage instead of 25%. Because right now, people can hardly notice the increase in damage while using the bracelet, but they obviously notice the damage they take, which is why I think you don't see a lot of people doing a playthrough while having it equipped, because it is just not worth it. Anyway, let me know if you are a fan of the Barbed Bracelet, or if you just never use it. And also, would you use it if it got a buff?